Yeah. Hello, friends. This is film critic Harfan from Cineblues, and today we have Zain Khan Durrani, whose series in the name of Mukhbir is going to stream soon on Z5 platform. Very excited to have Zain Khan today. Hi, sir. How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah,
Very
I'm
well.
doing good. Thank you. Thank you. So, sir, actually, I had first seen you in your one of your films of 2018, if I remember, Kuch Bhige Alfaz, where you acted
Yeah,
along with Gitanjali Thapa. And
yeah.
actually, this was written by Abhishek, who is a friend of mine. And
Ah,
I really liked your performance there. You played
thank
an
you.
RJ, and I think you were an RJ for some time as well. You actually worked as an RJ.
After that, I did a show for a year, as a storyteller. So that
Yeah,
was nice. Yes, yeah,
yeah. Okay. So, sir, Mukhbir, as the name suggests, it means a spy, right? Uh,
yes, it
so,
does. It does.
yeah. So, can you please tell me? And I was reading upon it, and I came to know that this is based on a real story of an Indian spy, right? And it is based on a novel by.
Inspired by,
It
inspired
is
by.
inspired by one of the novels
Yeah.
by Malay Dhar. So please, can you tell me more about your character, what exactly he does in the show?
So, like you said, he's basically a spy, but an unlikely one.
Okay.
In the sense, this story is basically about the making of a spy. We've seen, I suppose even I have, you would have seen a lot of spy stories, but we've seldom seen uh, the journey of the making of a spy. And this is interestingly the making of spy in mission time, in real time.
Right.
So you would see a person who's an unlikely candidate to become a spy. He's
Yeah.
he is Yes, he's quick on his feet. Yes, he is quick-witted. Yes, he is street smart and all of those things. But we know that those are not necessarily the only ingredients you have to be a spy. You have to be extremely well trained in that
Right.
department. You have to have certain experience in that manner. But
Yes.
he's picked up precisely because of the fact that he is not trained in the conventional methods of being a spy, so as to
Mhm.
not go detected, so as to not be detected.
Right.
This takes place in early 60s when
Yeah.
in the Indo-China war had just happened, and the country was facing a certain form of economic conditions which are not suitable for a war. The war had to be avoided at all costs. So what do you do then?
Right.
You send agents who are adept at getting information out of the other country for you so that you may be well prepared or you may avoid the war altogether. And
Right.
you have seen that in the trailer as well,
In the trailers. Yeah.
that it's about, the what do you do? I do things that, that avoid war, which is said in the trailer as well. So the character, like I said, comes from the street basically,
Mhm.
and goes into this whole journey of becoming a spy one. And the story takes a look at the whole spy world from a very human angle, which
Okay.
I think have seldom explored. This is a genre anyway, which is not very well explored in our country. It is historical fiction.
Right.
It's
Right.
where you take historical events, real events, and you form a fictionalized account around them. So hence we say it's inspired from true events. Uh, and it takes you into a journey. It aims at taking the viewer into the journey with
Right.
the protagonist, with the different characters, with their very well defined character arcs, into making everybody in our country, every viewer understand the human sacrifice behind such tasks,
Right.
which involves a social, emotional angle as well, apart from the whole entertaining bit of being a thriller or of being having action in it, or having suspense in it. It takes you into a very human journey, and while it entertains you on a very on the spy in the spy genre, it entertains you with its thrill and suspense and excitement. It also moves you. It moves you by telling its human story, by telling you about the sacrifices made.
Right.
So that the character is basically aimed at
Yeah. Yeah.
affecting that upon the audience.
Yeah. So, like I was telling you, in Kuch Bighe Alfaz, you are playing a poet kind of character, and in Bell Bottom, you were a hijacker. So there was a
Hmm.
lot of difference between the two
Yeah,
characters, and now you are playing the role of a spy in Mukhbir. So,
yeah.
did you take any preparatory steps or anything in particular for prepping up into the role, the character?
Hanji, you have to. There's so many preparatory steps that you have to take for any character. The there steps that I took for Kuch Bhi Alfaz. I had taken steps for Bell Bottom as well, and here as well. I mean, here the task was a sort of elongated one. It is about 8 episodes. It is about a runtime
Yeah,
of 5 hours.
yeah,
And and that gives you the on the one hand, while it makes it a big task, it makes it a challenge. It also gives you the advantage of affecting the graph upon the audience.
yeah,
When
yeah,
you have that much time, it is all the more um, convenient to present the entire story, the different
right,
aspects of a character,
right.
which might get stifled in a movie or in a shorter runtime.
Hmm.
But that also includes the challenge of maintaining the graph of the character.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you start someday with the fourth episode. I did start my first day of shoot, and my first shot was also one of my first few shots in the series. But then I
Okay,
remember going to the fourth episode, then the sixth episode on the third day,
I see.
some shots
Mm.
from different bits. So aapko apna, you have to keep in mind a very clear vision of the graph of the character per se. So that is the most important part of the preparation as such that I found out here, uh, which is a little different from how I've experienced it in movies. Because in movies it's still um, in terms of runtime, it's easier to keep some track. Here,
Right.
it has to be very well jotted out and planned, if I may say
Right.
so. Then, of course, where he comes from and where he's going, his demeanor, he belongs to the 60s, he's not from today's world.
Yes. Yes.
You have to talk a certain way. You have to forget a lot of things that you learned by being a 90s kid.
Right.
I was born in the 90s. This person is born somewhere in the late, early 50s probably.
Yeah.
So the mannerisms have to change. Baki, the story has been written in a very articulate way.
Yeah.
It's very descriptive, and that itself helped me prepare. The circumstances make a human being. Circumstances make a character. So उस हिसाब से
Right.
the circumstances were so well defined in the
Right.
whole series that it was easy to grasp by the decisions that the person is making, the choices that the person is making, that tells you a bit about the person.
Yeah.
So they that really helped me get to the bottom of my character,
Yeah.
if I may say so. Then of course the directors were absolutely amazing. I have to mention that, in how how Shivam sir, which has been instrumental in bringing this to life. How Jaiprad has been extremely sensitive and delicate with his approach with directing us, and molding our characters, and and presenting them in scenes. Mm. So yeah, the preparation, if I can sort of sum it up, has been a journey itself.
Yeah. So how was it working with Shivam Nayak? He's a man who has been there in the industry for like I think close to 40 years, starting in
Yeah.
the Doordarshan time. And if I go through his filmography, he made a film like Aista Aista, which was much of an emotional journey of the protagonist, and then he made thrillers like Naam Shabana and of course Special Ops, which was more like spy intensive or
Mm,
thriller
mm.
intensive films. So how was it working with him for you?
So in Shivam sir's own words, apart from, I mean, I can tell you that he is fantastic. He's amazing, but you already know that. But what I can tell you differently here, in his own words, that this is a series probably where he's taken a leap into working on the subtext a lot more, on discovering the
Mhm.
inner truth of his characters.
Ah, okay.
And he's
Okay.
really made it a point to, and his single aim here because he's already
Yeah.
really adept at creating the thrill, establishing the
Right.
contours, establishing the scenario. Here he
Uh-huh.
took a plunge into the inner depths of a character, the inner workings,
Okay.
uh, the inner turmoils of the characters and he
Yeah.
really made it a point to bring that about on screen, because that is a
Uh,
new aspect, especially in
right.
this genre where
Mm.
you have seen the inner turmoils being explored in family dramas and romantic stories or per se. But here in this genre, it will be a very refreshing thing, and that's all credit to Shivam sir. He
Okay.
has he has always been very I must say that very ready to understand where the actor comes from and what is
Right.
their view on a
Right.
certain scene, what is their take on a certain situation, as long as he has trust in the actor's preparation. So
Right.
once he has the trust in your preparation and your dedication to where you are, to your character, to your role,
Yeah.
then he
Yeah.
gives you that freedom, then he lets you
Mhm.
fly, then he lets you do your thing, and then he will only come in to punctuate bits and pieces of that
Okay.
scene, and
Okay.
that really helps.
Yeah.
So I've had one says this a lot of times, Aman, and you know that aapne bahut zyada interviews kiye honge, and a lot of times we do say these things that
G.
we've learned,
Uh,
but I can say it with utmost honesty that this has been again a wonderful learning experience
yeah.
from somebody like Shivam sir.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about stalwarts like Prakash Raj and Adil Hussain being there in Mukhbir?
Along with they're fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just. I mean, you look at the kind of work that they've done, the kind of actors they are, and then you see them as human beings, how they conduct themselves on sets, and
Mhm.
then it ratifies and it your opinion and your
Yeah.
understanding that to be a good
Mhm.
actor, it's very important to be a decent
Good.
human being.
Right.
That is something that I really took off from them. Of course, the craft and everything that is for everybody
Mhm.
to see. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you what is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, is Adil sir and Prakash both are thorough gentlemen.
Yeah.
They are extremely at this stage in their careers when they pretty much don't have much to prove. They're proven
Right.
how they're metal as actors. They're still so involved. There's a
Right.
childlike quality to keep learning.
Yeah.
They give so much respect to every actor around them, even somebody who's just starting off like I am.
Mhm.
They're always ready to listen. Then I must also mention that there is Dilip Shankar, who is a big name in theater, who is fantastic in this series that you will get to see as well. You will get
Yeah.
to see Harchaya,
That's
who
right.
is
Yeah.
again
Right.
fantastic, man. I remember the first day I met him. I was all praise for
He was brilliant in Ankahi.
oh yeah, Andekhi.
Andekhi. I'm sorry. Andekhi.
Oh,
Yeah.
he that's that's the first thing I mentioned to him, that I am a fan of how he portrayed that. I don't think it's easy to achieve what he does on screen. It takes a lot of gut and courage, and he has done that wonderfully. And here as well, you will see that he has outperformed. Then there is Atul Kumarji, who's done a
G. G.
fantastic job as well.
Yeah.
I'm very proud and happy that we have a set of really good actors that I have had the pleasure of working with on this and learning from and
Yeah.
getting a lot of experience with.
Yeah. My last question to you, like your favorite uh, show or movie which belongs to the spy thriller genre. Anything which you have,
Uh, I've grown up watching the James Bond series.
okay.
It's I mean for anybody it's just it it's something that we've all sort of at some point watched
Right.
and thoroughly enjoyed. We've done some tremendous work in India as well recently. You mentioned Special Ops, you mentioned Nam Shabana. We've but yeah.
Even Razi and even D-Day for that matter, which
Oh yes,
explored the
absolutely.
emotional journey of Irfan Khan. He was also a
Oh
spy
yes.
in that. So that
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. तो इरफान से तो खैर मतलब कहने की
yeah,
बात नहीं है उनकी तो उनका तो I really look up to him. Yeah, and I mean, there's James Bond for sure. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy, and I mentioned this earlier as well, that this character is not in any way close or based
Yeah,
around that.
yeah,
Because it's, that archetype, or that stencil of spies
yeah,
is already in a way done. You've seen spies, stylized
right,
spies like that.
right.
This, if I may say so, is very real, very human, and in that
Yes.
way, it's been a very good explorative journey, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Zain, and we hope that Mukhbir will be a big hit, and we will be reviewing this series on our for our channel. And do stay tuned. And thank you,
I'm
and all
looking
the best
forward to that.
once more. I
Thank you
am
so much.
I missed saying one point. I'm really a fan of your voice. The way you speak,
Thank
your
you.
modulation is amazing.
Thank you so much. That's so
बहुत
kind of
अच्छा
you.
लगता है आपकी आवाज.
Thank you, Anji.
Thank
Shukriya.
you. Bye.
Bye bye. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.